Well, hello. We are live once again. We are Tuesday, 6th of January. I'm in a different country today, and I'm running off of one laptop, so I'm hoping this is going to work. So this is me running it from one laptop. I hope it's all as well. Today we're going to be looking at the IB breakout report, because of course it was just formed. So the first hour of trading, you can see that the price action has been quite positive, and then we'll go to the Edgepool platform, which of course, as always, is linked below in the description on X, which I'll just do that now. This is my second screen, my phone. But yeah, I hope you're all well. It's a bit of a strange stream today because I've tried 3 different houses in Spain, and this is the one with the best internet connection, and I'm very, very grateful that they can share it with me. So thank you. Let's go ahead and pop that in the comments. There you go. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And the stream quality is all right. It should be, considering I've been searching for good connection. Sweet. Right, we're good to go. So as I say, this is the first hour of the price action you can see here. So let's get rid of that for now. We'll zoom in. So this large green box, which I'm assuming you can see. Let me just double check there's no comments coming in. It's going to be a fun one, this one. Sorry. Let's go to trading view. So this is the first hour of price action, which you just said, the green box. So the lows obviously first set in the first 15 minutes, and of course the highs were just recently set in the last 10 minutes as well. Now, if we go over to the Edgepool platform, which we can do just like this, what we do is we go back to the home section so you can kind of see, and then we're going to open up this little tab here, and we can go down to reports. And then from here, we're going to select stock. Because we're looking at the SPY, you can do it with the futures, but I prefer to do it with SPY, to be honest. And then we can go to, obviously 6 months is kind of the default range, which of course we'll leave for now. And then choose sub-report here on the left. I normally go by weekday. Get that loaded through. Hopefully that's going through. This is the gap fill report. We don't actually want to be on this. We want to be on initial balance breakout, which is up here on the bookmarks. Of course, with the new reports, you can just bookmark anything you want. And of course, it will just pop up in here. So you can see the last 6 months on, oh no, we have to redo the weekday. Okay, the last 6 months on every Tuesday. So that's quite a lot of data. That's what, 27 weeks worth of Tuesdays. You can see that here, well, 26 weeks is what they've got here. So 50% of the time, 57% of the time, sorry, it has had a single break. And what that means is it's just broken out of one way. And then likewise on the other part of this is double break. And what that is it's gone above here and then come all the way back down and come below here. There's a couple of ways you can do this as well. So you can do it by the wick, or you can do it by the candle. So for example, we will draw that out for you. If we had a candle that closed, say this is a full candle and it closed up here, you could then select that as a subcategory. Right. So over here on the left, what I'll do is I'll get rid of the caption on the screen because you know where to follow me on X or YouTube, of course, by now. There we go. Let's do that. Okay, yeah, so we're going to go to customize report. Now we can do it with different time limits as well. We can do, down to 5 minutes, all the way up to 3 hours by the looks of it. But I'm going to go for the hour because it just makes more sense. It's what I've got set up on the chart. And this is what I was talking about by the wick or by the candle. So by the candle close, what it will do is it will populate some different data for you. It will take its time. Stream is still running, so that's a good sign. Pop over here, see the comments there. Okay, so that's now loaded. So we've got the last 6 months and we've got the customized report on candle close. And you can see actually it's added the fact that there's been no break before. And what that means is if a candle was closed up here before, it means it's pushed back down below, for example. And of course, subsequently, not broken the initial balance breakout, which is the first hour of trading. But if we move back to the wick, which is the candle by wick, here we go. And of course, you've got the candle time frame there as well. We'll click save. And there we go. So we've got the data on the screen here with the wick, and of course it's changed back to no break. So hopefully you can kind of understand that. But we'll do obviously by wick today, so I think it makes a bit more sense because it includes all of the price action throughout the whole candle rather than just the kind of, the bulk of the candle. And I think it's interesting to note if we zoom in to this particular area of price action, what we'll do is we'll take away this box here, and then we'll get rid of the EMA trend for now. And we'll get rid of these lines. Well, actually, I want to save those lines because they are actually quite important for the future. For me, anyway. Okay, let's get rid of those. So you can see on the screen here, we've got initial balance breakout, which is the first hour of trading, as I mentioned quite a few times now. And we've got some retracement lines. And what that is, obviously 50%, 25%, 75%, depending which way you want to look at it. But they're all quarters, obviously. And you can see, once we zoom out, it has populated lines for the day. And every day is different. So we can zoom out a bit. You can see that yesterday, this is how it kind of played out yesterday. First hour price action here on the left side, and then of course the price action kind of matured nicely throughout the whole day, but it did actually respect these lines. So these retracement lines, they do hold to a certain extent. And of course that's the market close last night, and we'll pop on the market sessions indicator to represent that. This is a really cool indicator, actually, I must admit. So once you sign up for Edgefull, we'll put a link down below in the description. From YouTube, obviously X as well. You can then, pop into indicators, and then you get invited to use any of the indicators, which you can see on the screen there. Plenty of them to use. So what we do is when we go into it, click on the settings sign, and what you have on the screen here is 4 different time zones. You've got Asia, London, New York, and Sydney. I believe you can actually change them depending on what market you're on. If you want to trade the German market, it'll be similar sort of times, if not the same, actually, to London. So you could use, Europe, for example, in there. Just edit that. So yeah, just click them on and off, so you can see it kind of populates there on the screen. That's the London time frame. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll trade on the London time frame. I think that'd be quite fun to do, actually. It can be quite volatile in the morning as well. I should get enough time actually to do that because I don't start work normally until 9. Obviously, the reason why I'm on here today is because I'm in Spain on holiday. Visiting some family, which is always fun. We'll go back to the New York time frame, and you can see it's the blue one here. It's 9:30 to 4 o'clock. Keep in mind that these time frames are actually the Eastern time frames. So yeah, just be careful with that when you're looking at that. You can see it just populates a nice little box for you there. Now, the reason you can use the initial balance breakout report is obviously because it populates lines for the day. Excuse me. But also you can combine it with your own indicators. So if we were to draw a trend line throughout the day here, eventually that would have broken and kind of retested and moved up higher. Obviously this is out of hours, so you'd have to trade that out of hours, and you'd probably be, I'd definitely be asleep at this time, but you might be still awake, depending on what time we're trading over in the US. But of course, we're looking at today's price action, see if we can take a trade today. So what we want to do is, one, obviously we want to use these retracement lines. I think they're quite handy. Looks like this one's just been broken. So the next one we're going to be looking at is this line here. I understand it's probably quite small. And what we'll do is we'll pop out to the 15-minute chart here. And we're just going to do some basic technical analysis, okay? So you can see we've got a couple of peaks here, but they're a little bit off. So you could actually draw a line from here to here. And look at that, it kind of coincides with the middle of the price action there, the retracement line, sorry. Let's zoom out a bit more, just see if we can get a bit more clarity. There's a lot of volume at this level. So let's pop that there temporarily. I understand it's very small, but I'm just trying to get a bit of a broader view of where we are. Again, you can see why we're probably hitting resistance, because we've got a bit of a trend line here. And that's the highs set back in, I don't even know what month that is. It must be December, yes. Any other highs? No. Okay, so what we've got here then is, let's look into this in a bit more detail while we're here. We do actually have one here as well. So you can see resistance just about there. I'm sorry if you can't see that, but you just have to believe me. And resistance obviously back here as well on the 5th of January, and then we'll zoom back into the 5-minute chart. So we can see that we are interested in this sort of area. You could always start a position here if it does get down to that price action. We'll go to the 10-minute chart. I do like the 10-minute chart every now and then, just to visually more appealing, because we're here on the live stream doing it now. And then what we can do is we can add indicators such as the EMA trend. We can add fair value gaps if we like, although I'm not overly confident trading them, so I just won't. I've got the 3 EMAs, which is the same as the EMA cloud, but just singular lines. So we could just show a little bit of patience in today's market. We'll leave actually the EMAs on the screen. Of course, we've also got previous day's range. So you can see we might get a bit of interest around this sort of level that we're coming down to now, because that's the previous day's high. So I would look for price action to come around about here, which is 698, 699, that sort of area. Let's go for a price level somewhere about there. Let me just check the stream is still running. We're good. Awesome. So with the data that we've got on Edge4 here, then we're going to see that there is a 57% chance that there's going to be a single break. So what we want to do is get our entry prepared for this sort of area. We'll draw a big circle on there. Just there. That's not that big, but it's a circle. That it is what it is. And we'll take away market sessions because we know that we're in session time now. And what we'll also do is take away, because I don't want to have too much on the screen, because I can understand it'd be a little bit complicated. Let's have a look. We'll take away the other 2 moving averages and stay with the 20 moving average here. So we're going to have to show a bit of patience, as I mentioned. We are in the 10-minute time frame. If we go to the 5-minute, we might see the moving average right there, which is fair enough. So I'm looking for price action to come down to this sort of area for upside. Now, obviously, we're looking for upside, but then we're going to have a look for a stop loss. So what we have so far is the long position. We'll stick it there hypothetically for now, and we'll want to come up to the top of the IB, which is initial balance breakout, or initial balance. And your stop loss, for me personally, would probably be just below the moving average here, which we can see for now. You could bring it down a little bit further if you like, depending on what your risk appetite is like. But just trying to see if there's any basic technical analysis for this. Not really. I mean, really, it'd be safest down here, but you're not looking in terms of risk to reward for trade potential there. That's 1.65. But for now, we're concentrating on this 6918 level. Thereabouts. Let's try and get more of a. Yeah, 69. $18.5. Of course, I have to trade on here because that's just where we are. Right, here we go. Where is the market? Market's here. But how are you? How are you trading? I understand most of you are probably working right now, as I should be. I'm just going to be setting up a buy limit order now for, what was I say? 6919. Okay, we are in, not in, but we're in with the buy limit. And for now, we'll put the stop loss because I do mostly, obviously by technical analysis, obviously, but obviously by the dollar amount as well, which is just something I'm comfortable with. You don't have to do it. So for me, I'll have a specific dollar amount worth of loss, and that's currently 6908, which is where that is. Which is there. We're looking for a trade for the whole day, by the way, not just a scalp. Because sometimes when I'm on these streams normally, of course, I'll be doing a power hour breakout report, which is a bit more of a scalping strategy. So go ahead and modify that, and we'll see how that matures throughout the day. Okay, sweet. That's now in. Have a quick check of the stream. Still going, still on. That's good. I don't know what the quality is going to be like, but we'll see how that is after I've done the stream. But let's have a little look around on the Edgeworld platform, because obviously that's what we're here for. So we're looking for the 57% chance of it breaking, just, hopefully to the upside, because obviously that's where the momentum is, but of course we may get downside as well. But it's quite interesting to see that the double break is so high, but the reason you get that is because of what we can see on the screen here. Some days are smaller than others. So this one's smaller. This sort of area here is smaller than this one because this one's much bigger today. The day before was massive. And then other days are a lot smaller. This one was really small here. So the range on some days are really small, as you can see another one there as well. So let's go back to today's trading. I don't know about you, but trading the market in the first hour is always quite volatile. I don't trade it during the hour because I'm normally at work, but yeah, we are here. Let's get rid of that. As I said, we're going to have a look through Edgeworld in a minute, but what I'll do is I'll stick up a caption for now. There we go. That'll do nicely. So you can see on the screen here, we've got the Edgeworld platform. We've spoken about the strategy we're talking about today, which I don't trade too often, I must be honest, but of course it's a nice, easy one to learn. And you can definitely benefit off this profitability wise for sure. You can combine it with other strategies. Some people like to combine it with gap fills. You can see on the right side here. Inside days, outside days, of course, would be quite an interesting way of doing it. But of course, it's not something I do very often. So for now, we're just going to look at the basics of the initial balance breakout report. We'll move on now to, we get the menu open. We go to Screener. Let that load through. And you can see this overall daily bias doesn't really populate for a while. This is power breakout, so ignore this part. But you can see the overall daily bias is where we're at. So at the moment, it's quite neutral because it's only been an hour of trading, an hour and a half almost of trading. So if you come back to that in a couple of hours, then you get a really good feel of how the day's going. And of course, then you've got what's in play, which has changed since I last looked at it. So all of this is done by different report names, and you can see on the screen here you've got initial balance by weekday, initial balance by weekday as well. This is different. Yeah, so that's changed since then. We'll go over to the watch list, and then of course what we've got here on the right side is our watch list down here in the corner. You can simply add to that by sticking in the ticker symbol there, and then putting whatever you want. So for example, if we want to put Masterworks in, Masterworks MicroStrategy, so you just pop in the ticker symbol and just tap on that plus sign, and it pops up here in your watch list, but also here down in the right hand corner. So very easy to use. You can just then, for example, if I was to use Power Hour Breakout Report, which is what I normally use, then I would simply just go to Power Breakout Report, which I just did, and then I can just cycle through all of the stocks very, very easily, very, very quickly, just like this. Normally it's a bit quicker, but because where I am, it's not so quick. There you go, so it's populated there. But obviously this data is not valid until, we're talking 4 hours time. which is what I normally trade. Is the strategy I'm most comfortable with. If you want to see that in action, you can look at my previous streams, or come back next week when I'm back in England and we can have a look at that together on the stream. So yeah, that is that. What we do is we'll take away the caption now, hide that. And this one here is the first page. So we've got welcome to Edgefor here. We've got the essential walkthrough, which is just a really quick version of looking at the videos for the platform. Or we've got the advanced walkthrough, which the other day I did put up a tweet of saying it's actually quicker than the finale of Stranger Things. So Stranger Things finale was 2 hours and 8 minutes. This is about 1 hour and 50 minutes, I think, altogether. So you can learn the whole platform basically within 2 hours instead of watching the finale. Not saying it was bad, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it at least. Lots of unanswered questions, but I mean, it's like that a lot within the markets, isn't it, really? Let's have a look at the market, see where we're going with it. So you can see price action is now coming back down. So we might actually get triggered in this at some point. We do have a moving average in the way, but moving averages aren't everything. I don't enter a trade based on moving averages. I more manage it with the moving averages. That's a good tip for you to have. I would normally caption that up, but if I start doing that, it's going to be really messy. So we'll just watch this for a few minutes, see if it kind of develops nicely. But the only thing we have here is the previous day's high, which could act as a nice bit of support, short term at least. So what we're looking for in terms of target price, of course, we want to get back up to the highs of the day. But beyond that, we want to see price action come up to this IB level, which I'm sure you've done the maths by now, but you can see if we draw a square, this square here, you can see that's the first hour price action. If you drag that up, that's actually another section of the first hour's price action, and it's just halved. The way to activate these is very, very simple. So you can tap into the initial balance breakout indicator, tap on the settings, go on the inputs. One, you can take away all the retracement lines if you really want to, but I like to have them, especially if I'm trading earlier on in the day, like I am today. Or we can just scroll a little bit further down, and this is obviously what we have in terms of those lines on the screen. So if I take 0.5 off, we can see that these lines have now gone, but we'll keep them on for now. It looks like we've just been entered into our trade. We'll see how long that lasts. Looks like we're having a bit of a downside price action for now. Perhaps there's a little bit of news. The one I'd do for that is Financial Juice, which is here. So today, I didn't think there was anything today, but we do have Fed speakers. I'm just wondering if this is Spanish time or not. Guessing it probably is. In which case, nothing is coming out right now. We've had Trump speaks about an hour ago, and obviously Jensen Huang speaking in a couple of hours' time. So nothing really in terms of news just yet. Just a bit of negative price action here temporarily. So the single break we were talking about, which is the 57%, we go back onto Edgefor and have a look at that. So we'll bring out the menu here, go to reports. So you can see me go again. We can go initial balance breakout because that's what we're looking at today. And go to SPY, choose sub report by a weekday. We got back to the section where we've got 57% and 42. So 57% of the time, there's going to be a single breakout. Single break, sorry. So that could actually be down below this line. So let's get out the old brush. So 57% chance of coming down here or here. And then there's a 42% chance of doing both. So I hope that's clear enough. If you've got any questions, just let me know, of course, on X, DMs, whatever. YouTube, comments, of course, no problem. Or even just in the comments on the live streams here. We're coming to the end of the stream now, in the last 5 minutes or so. But I think we've covered the initial balance breakout report really well. If you did like it, then perhaps maybe I can do a separate video on this in the future. Break it down. Perhaps we can have a couple of examples in all of those. It's always so weird when I do this because it's like an illusion, some sort of crazy illusion. Awesome. All right, go back to price action. Let's have a look at how the trade's maturing. Of course, this zone that we had before drawn out. This is kind of the area of which I thought there might be some buying coming in, which is this area here in the blue box. For now, we'll get rid of the price table because it's getting a bit messy on the screen. Moving average is also kind of in the way for now. Lots of volatility here. We may actually get stopped out almost straight away, but we do need to find a bit of support right here now. But of course, with the trade that I put on, the risk is minimal because obviously I don't trade with huge amounts of money on the accounts. So you must always be aware of what risk you're putting on when you're putting on the risk in any sort of trade. And also always enter with a stop loss for sure. Let's see how the trade's looking over on the platform. Now you might think, actually, are you going to go into this again? And I could, of course, but of course I'm slightly on holiday as well, so I don't really want to have too much money in the markets. And I've got quite a few positions like Amazon, Nvidia, and some smaller stocks as well, kind of rolling through. So I'm just kind of managing those swings at the moment as well. If you want any more details on those, just let me know, and I'll pop them up on a tweet or something. So we spoke about market sessions. Let's get that back on the screen. That's there. Of course, this will extend until market close, which is not for a while. There. So we still have all of this price action. Now, of course, hopefully it does this all the way up to top of the target price. That'd be amazing. If not, if we come back down and we have the break of my stop loss, then that's okay. That's trading. We lose a trade, we move on from then onwards. But of course, we're looking for upside because we have support, we have momentum, and we're going to see how that develops. So I think that will be it for today. Obviously, I'll post the results of this trade later tonight, if not very early tomorrow morning, but I think I'll probably do it tonight most likely. So yeah, thank you for kind of sticking around and watching the stream. Hope it was good enough quality. It was good fun to do this in a different country, different time. Obviously, this is market open, not market open, but it's 1 hour after market open. So it's quite interesting to have a look at the markets and see how they develop at this time of day rather than the last hour, which is what I normally do. But yeah, thank you very much for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube. There you go, @SeanTrades_, and follow on X as well. And also make sure you sign up for edgefull.com with the link down below. You get a free trial, so it makes sense to do so. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream, which will be in a few days' time. I'll let you know on X, so make sure you follow me over there. Take care, everyone.